Am I the asshole for not wanting my son's father on the birth certificate? A little bit of background. I got pregnant very quickly in our relationship. I'm 7 months pregnant and found out he has been having online relations with women we know very well, have been out for meals with us, had move nights in with us, etc. And complete strangers he's found on a plethora of dating apps. This came as an absolute shock to me. Our life was perfect and there were no signs of lying or dishonesty. I don't want to put him on my baby's birth certificate as I don't want him to have equal rights. This isn't to say he has no rights. More a parental agreement that we both will agree the terms of. I've heard horror stories of baby daddy disappearing with his child, and legally there's not a damn thing the mother can do as long as the child is safe and cared for. I can't trust this man. He's lied to me time and time again. When I confronted his actions he tried to gaslight me and cover lies with lies. Obviously he is hurt because it seems in his eyes. I ended the relationship and now I'm going to disappear with his little boy without a trace. He has severe mental health issues, meaning he's not always in control of his actions. Am I the asshole for not wanting him to have unregulated contact with our child? Too long did not read. Baby daddy been cheating online, compulsive liar, and I personally don't trust him much, especially when it comes to my currently unborn child's well-being. Update for clarity. We are in the UK where other legal documents can be issued so both parents have certain rights. I don't plan on keeping the child from him as that's always going to be his daddy regardless of what's happened between us. This isn't a case of me using my child as a weapon but a case of I don't want him to have 50-50 rights. He does have other children he has access to but is not on any of their birth certificates. Further update for clarity. He has never met one of his children due to way he intimidated the mother. He has very limited access to his other child. He has only seen her supervised for a couple of hours and a handful of times through her life. She is of school age. He isn't approved for school pickup and has agreed to meet the child with the mother and failed to show on multiple occasions. He doesn't provide financially or emotionally for his other children. Additional update: I'll no longer be responding to comments as this all seems to have been wildly misinterpreted. I love my child and I want the best life for him. I believe every child should have both parents unless in extreme circumstances. A parent can be added to a birth certificate at any point. My intention was that I'm the only parent on there until he proves himself to be a willing and reliable father. A lot of the information in this post only came to light after the relationship ended. I didn't know his history before I fell pregnant. And I was deemed infertile, so don't just say I should have used protection. We were both tested for STIs and only sleeping with each other, so what was the point given the circumstances? I just didn't want my child to be let down by this man, as other children have been, and me not being able to do a damn thing about it. Honey, don't come to the internet. Lawyer up. You are the asshole. He is the father. You are letting your emotions dictate your actions. You are the asshole. The certificate is your baby's official document, not yours. It isn't intended to be a record of what you want the world to look like. He is the father and has rights that you do not get to decide to take away. You are the asshole. Him being a shitty partner should have no impact on his relationship or status with his child. He's much a parent to this child as you are, and he can establish paternity and force his way onto the birth certificate if he wants to. This has nothing to do with you not wanting him to be in kid's life, you're just being vindictive. Hard. You are the asshole. A father has 100% equal right to his child as a mother. The only exceptions are when the courts decide otherwise and/or there is a clear risk to the child. You don't have the right to keep him away from his kid simply because he hurt your feelings. Am I the asshole for having a menstruation hygiene talk with my niece? Backstory: my partner, 34 female, and I, 30 male, have a 6-year-old daughter. She comes from a family with 2 sisters, her very involved mother and her father who isn't really that involved. He lives out of state. My fiancé is a som. The middle sister has a husband, no kids, but is seemingly married to her career. The eldest is a single mother to a 12-year-old girl. She's not very self-sufficient, but I'll get into that in a minute. Couple weeks ago, the eldest sister was involved in an accident at work. She's had 3 separate surgeries and is now in a rehab facility for an unknown amount of time while she recovers. After the accident, our niece came to live with us. Basically, my fiancé and her mom have been up to their necks trying to sort through this sister's affairs. Everything is a mess, from her house to her finances. Anyways, every day after I get home from work, my fiancé and her mom are off to go tend to the sister and/or her colossal amount of problems. Few nights ago while getting dinner going for the kids, I asked my niece to bring the bathroom hamper downstairs. Our daughter has her own bathroom which she now shares with her cousin. It wasn't a thing we thought about, so they both ended up using the same hamper. The hamper was full and my niece had more dirty clothes on her bedroom floor. I began sorting the laundry as she went back upstairs to collect the rest. To my utter shock, I found 3 pairs of her underwear that had pads attached. When she got to the laundry room she saw them set aside. My exact words were, "Hun, you need to peel the pads off and throw them away before tossing your underwear in the dirty pile." Her response was simple, "My mom takes care of that." I was kind of like, "What?" Because the pads were beyond full I asked, "Don't you change your pads out a couple times throughout the day?" Her response, "No." Suddenly it occurred to me, I had smelled something off color the previous day after picking her up from school. Of course, I wasn't going to point that out to her. But I did tell her that you're supposed to change and discard the pads in the trash multiple times a day, especially when you wake up in the morning. Obviously I upset her because she took a pile of her clothes and threw them on the floor, then stormed off to her room. She wouldn't come back down for dinner either. While cleaning up, I get a call from my niece's mother. "Who do you think you are speaking to my daughter about her period?" She completely went off on me, saying I was so far out of line for not only embarrassing her child but putting her in an uncomfortable situation because I'm a male. She wouldn't hear me out at all. I had to hang up because my fiancé was calling. I explained everything to her and her mom, to which they said what I did was fine. She requested her mom take her daughter, seeing that I've now traumatized her. That's not even possible though, so as it stands right now the kid won't speak to me per her mother's instructions. Not the asshole. You're taking care of this kid, and it sounds like she either wasn't taught properly or didn't understand what she was taught. I think you handled it very well. Her mother, not so much. Not the asshole. You were doing the laundry and got slapped in the face with dirty pads. That's gross, and she does need to know the things you told her. Her mom needs to do better. Not the asshole. I don't think you did anything wrong. The woman that you're rearranging your life for in order to help might want to take a moment to reflect on how helpful you are before burning your face off. But she won't. Not the asshole. This is an issue of hygiene. You were doing what was necessary. I suspect your niece may be embarrassed. Also, in what world does your sister think that this is acceptable? Not the asshole. She needed to hear that pads need to be changed multiple times and she risks harming herself unintentionally. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you can't say something to her. Am I the asshole for dyeing my daughter's hair? Throwaway account. Also writing this on phone, so sorry for any grammar mistakes. Okay, so I, 28 female, love dyeing my hair. Growing up I dealt with a lot of bullying which affected my self-esteem and confidence. When I turned 15 I experimented with hair dye and absolutely fell in love. It gave me a newfound confidence and I started to make friends, join clubs and enjoy my high school experience. I currently still dye my hair but not as often, I usually only dye my hair 3-4 months a time. Anyways, I have a daughter, 5 female, and for the sake of privacy we'll call her, Lily. Lily has been one of my biggest fans when it comes to dyeing my hair. Since she was about 2 she would help pick my hair colors and it's something me and her both love to do together. Lately Lily has been wanting to get her hair dyed since she's turned 5 and I've been saying no for one reason. Hair damage. Like I said, I've been dyeing my hair for a while and the hair damage is real. I don't want that to happen to Lily. I love her natural blonde hair and she does too. She's constantly asking for me to try new styles on her hair to see how they look, etc. Since she's been asking I've been putting it off, explaining to her that she can get her hair dyed once she's a little bit older, but she was determined. So I just decided to do it for her happiness and to get her to stop begging every single day. While she was at school I got some pink hair dye that can easily be washed out. I also made sure to do a ton of research to make sure she was not allergic, or if it was healthy for her hair. Anyways, I was able to find something and brought it home. Once she saw the hair dye her face lit up and honestly it made my heart melt. I made sure not to give her a whole head of pink hair and just did the ends. I also made sure that it wasn't some neon bright pink and that it would look nice with her hair. After we finished the result looked great. And she was over the moon with her new hair. Now here's where the problem starts. On Sunday my parents asked us to come over for a little barbecue celebration for Mother's Day. Of course I agreed and me and Lily both went. Now my parents were never a fan of me dyeing my hair and they still aren't, but they don't talk about it and seem to don't care as much anymore. Once we got there, all eyes were on Lily's hair, and I immediately knew they weren't those, "Oh my God, her hair is so pretty" looks. As soon as we stepped inside, my mother pulled me aside and asked me what I was thinking. I tried explaining that it's been something Lily really wanted and I didn't want to disappoint her. I also mentioned that it wasn't like I gave her a full head of neon pink hair and that it removes easily. But she wasn't satisfied with this and gave me the cold shoulder for the rest of the evening. I honestly didn't think I was in the wrong, but it's been brought up again, so I'm starting to think that it was a bad idea. So I came on Reddit to ask, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I fail to see what the issue is. Good luck experimenting with different colors. I personally don't like dyed hair, so I've got that bias, but not the asshole. You considered every angle for your daughter and this didn't seem impulsive or irresponsible. Your parents' issue with your daughter's dyed hair is just an extension of their issues with your dyed hair. Not the asshole. She is your daughter and you respected her wishes. You did your research beforehand for all safety purposes. Your daughter is happy. This is literally all that matters. Not the asshole. She wanted to dye her hair, it made her happy, and presumably there aren't long-term consequences for it. Even if the hair dye somehow does damage, you only dyed the tips, so you can easily cut it off. All you've done is let your child have a bit of fun. Bonus. Mother-daughter bonding experience. Not the asshole. Who cares what your parents think, honestly? Am I the asshole for not wanting to pay half the bills? I, 30 female, and my husband, 26 male, are constantly fighting about finances. To preface, when we first got married we were both working and paying separate bills. A year after our fifth child, 2021, my husband and I agreed I could be a som for a short time as I was still having a hard time recovering from my pregnancy. I had absolutely no energy, but as we continued to fight I decided to go back to work after 8 months. I was pregnant with our second child and still feeling ill. After 5 months of working it turned out my illness and was actually cancer. I had emergency surgery in spring of 2022 and subsequently had to have our second baby at 28 weeks. I did chemo and our baby came home in November. However, we both have continued to have health issues resulting in many visits, hospitalizations, and surgeries. 10 total, I think. My husband's job has amazing insurance and pays enough that he supported our family through this entire nightmare. He paid my bills and his and gave me an allowance each month. However, my husband hates his job with a passion and is really only staying for the insurance. $2,800 UPEM. Since I'm currently in the clear for cancer, I wanted to get a part-time job and earn some money to get things done around the house. Our stove is broken. I need clothes and so do the kids and just other little things that might not be necessities. It's a battle to get my husband to pay for anything he doesn't deem necessary, like chicken nuggets for our picky toddler. He would tell me he'll buy me ground turkey and I could make them, so my allowance would often go towards the extra little purchases. We aren't hurting for money as he bought himself a brand new car in January. Yet I have to fight to get him to pay for the kids to get new clothes. He tells me that he is providing our basic needs and that we've never gone hungry, or not had gas in the car or anything like that. So when we got in a fight about it he told me to get a full-time job and that I would be paying half the bills. So I did. I don't make as much as he does but had to turn down a potentially better job for one that allows me to still be there for the kids. I never wanted him to pay all the bills, I just wanted some freedom with finances and household responsibilities to be fair. My husband does very little around the house, does little to no childcare. I make all the meals including his lunch, even when I was battling cancer. I do the laundry, the yard work, the kids and our medically complex baby, the pets, the dishes, let him sleep 12 hours a day. I'm happy to take some financial responsibility off his shoulders, but half the bills means all of my paycheck but only a fraction of his. He says he will be the buffer or pad in case of emergencies, but I don't feel I can trust him to pay up. He has refused to pay bills or rent when he gets mad. He says I should bargain with him for a better deal. I don't even know what that means. Info. Why are you with him? What does he actually bring to your life? Not the asshole. This is financial abuse. He knows you are depending on him for health insurance and he's taking advantage of it. He's not acting like a loving spouse or partner but he's trying to control you. Not the asshole. You didn't beat cancer to be treated like that. Also, taking care of children is a job in itself and if he wasn't helping in that area and you have a part-time job you're doing more than enough. Not the asshole. He sounds horrible. So why are you putting up with this?